Have you ever noticed how, in the aftermath of a family breakup, after a divorce, a life-altering event that reshapes families, it's almost expected for the father to just disappear, fade away from the family dynamic, leaving a void that's hard to ignore? The story goes, the common narrative, the one whispered in hushed tones, he's vanished, seemingly without a trace, abandoned his child, leaving them to grapple with feelings of confusion and loss, forgotten his duties. A narrative of irresponsibility and neglect. People whisper, judgments are passed, the child wonders, left to piece together a puzzle with missing pieces. Was I not loved enough? Did my father's love have conditions, but is that really the whole story? Is it a fair assessment, or are we missing crucial context? Here's the truth. A perspective often overlooked, what you see is just the tip of a huge iceberg. A fraction of the complex reality beneath the surface. Behind every so-called absent father, behind the label and the judgment, is often a silent, exhausting battle, a struggle that goes unseen and unacknowledged, against an unforgiving system, a legal landscape that can be biased and overwhelming, against old prejudices, societal biases that favor one parent over the other, and sometimes, even against the other parent. A conflict that extends beyond the courtroom and into the family dynamic. Let's bust the biggest myth first. Let's dismantle the most damaging assumption. Society loves to say, it's a common refrain, he left so he must not care. End of story, right? But few ever stop to ask. Rarely do we pause to consider, what if he's fighting to stay close? What if he's desperately trying to maintain a connection but nobody's letting him in? What if the door is locked and the key is out of reach? Stigma is powerful. It casts a long shadow. Fathers who face obstacles, fathers who encounter barriers to seeing their children, are shamed into silence. They are pressured to keep their struggles hidden. Their stories go untold. Their experiences are erased, keeping the stereotype alive, reinforcing a harmful and incomplete picture. Now you'd think the law would help. You'd assume the legal system would offer a fair solution. Technically, it does. In theory, the law is designed to protect everyone. Law, specifically, gives both parents equal rights on paper. A seemingly equitable framework. But in reality, the lived experience tells a different story. Up to 95% of courts, an overwhelming majority, grant custody to mothers. The statistics speak volumes, not because it's written in law, not because the law explicitly dictates it, but because it's always been that way. A deeply ingrained cultural norm. The father becomes a weekend visitor, if he's lucky. A limited role, a fleeting presence. And then there's the hidden wall, an obstacle that's difficult to see but impossible to ignore, maternal gatekeeping. When one parent controls access to the child, sometimes the mother blocks calls, communication is severed, won't answer the door, visits are denied, even turns the child against the father. Poisoning the relationship, creating distance and distrust. The dad might want to fight in court, he might want to challenge the situation legally, but legal fees are sky high, the financial burden is immense, and the process is emotionally draining. It takes a heavy toll on mental health. For many, it's just not possible. The obstacles are too great to overcome. Every year, year after year, tens of thousands of fathers go to court. They navigate the complex legal system just for a chance to see their kids. For a few precious hours of connection. But for every father in court, for every man who fights the legal battle, there are so many more who give up, who succumb to the pressure, worn down by the cost, the sheer expense of legal proceedings, the shame, the social stigma attached to being an absent father, or the fear of hurting their child more. The desire to shield their children from further conflict. So next time you hear about a dad who disappeared, the next time you encounter this narrative, remember, consider the possibility sometimes he didn't walk away. Sometimes he fought to stay involved. He was pushed, forced out of the picture. It's time to see the bigger picture, to understand the complexities at play, and start talking about the real struggle, the challenges and injustices fathers face after divorce. It's a conversation long overdue,